I'm Scott Turner, and I'm married to my wife, Missy. We have 2 children, Bridger and Anna. Growing up, I always felt like the black sheep in the family. My brothers both excelled in school and in sports, and I always felt like I didn't measure up. Feelings of inadequacy led to depression and resentments within my family. At 20 years old, I went to work with my family in the family business. I met my wife, Missy. After we got married, I spent long hours working, trying to prove myself to my family. My brothers and their spouses were always involved in the family business, and a lot of times it was not a place for Missy. I started to develop a lot of resentments for Missy not being involved, and the longer I worked in the business, the more I started to feel like I wasn't a part, and the further we drifted apart from the family. Around the age of 22, I injured my back. I started physical therapy, and after a period of time, it didn't work, and I was referred to a pain management specialist. They shortly put me on pain medication. The stresses with my job and within my family grew stronger, and I ended up in the hospital with stress-induced heart problems. As the stresses grew, I not only used the pills for physical pain, but also used them to numb the emotional pain and hurt. Eventually, I'd become dependent on the pills just to be able to function, get out of the bed, and to feel normal. After multiple attempts to try to quit on my own, the hopelessness and despair took me to a very dark place for several years. Missy had always stood by my side and supported me my entire marriage, but my addiction was totally consuming her life. One day, Missy told me that she'd had enough. I had to pick between the pills or her. We reached out to a doctor for help, and he promptly admitted me to the hospital for detox. Being off the pain meds for those first couple of weeks, I experienced pain like I never had before. One night, I laid in bed and I prayed to Jesus to take the pain from me. Immediately, the pain became bearable, and I was able to sleep for the first time in several days. The next day, we went to celebrate recovery in Tifton, and during the praise and worship, the presence of the Lord came over me like it never had before. It was like Jesus was telling me that let go of everything. I turned everything over to Him that night at Celebrate Recovery, and from that moment on, everything changed. Throughout this process, Jesus has taught me that He is greater than my depression, my anxiety, my addiction, my resentment, and my bitterness towards others. Through offering and receiving forgiveness, my relationships with my family and my wife have improved to the point that they're better than they ever have been.